14, verse 14, as we move on through the 17th chapter of Proverbs. Would someone please read verse 14?
Starting a quarrel is like opening a floodgate, so stop before a dispute breaks out.
I tell you, God has a word for everything going on in our life. And so starting a quarrel is like releasing water, mine says. Therefore, stop it. Stop the contention before the quarrel even starts. John MacArthur's Study Bible says, the smallest break in the dam sets loose an uncontrollable flood force. The smallest break in a dam sets loose an uncontrollable flood force. Verse 19a of chapter 17 says, he who loves transgression loves strife. Quarreling shows that its initiator loves sin, because a quarrel inevitably leads to trouble. Wolford and Zupp's Bible Knowledge Commentary says, starting a quarrel may seem like a minor matter, but it often grows beyond control, like a small crack in a dam, which increases in size until the dam breaks. So the answer is to refuse to let the issue fester. It should be dropped before the dispute even starts. Believer's Bible Commentary says, when a hole develops in a dike, the water rushing through it enlarges the hole rapidly. It is the same with quarrels. Minor disputes have a way of growing to major proportions. So it's better to stop while a dispute is still insignificant. Otherwise, you may be plunged into a great war soon. It's better to stop it while it's small and insignificant. Otherwise, you may be plunged into a great war soon. Matthew Henry's expositor says, number one, here's the danger that there is in the beginning of strife. Just one hot word, one peevish reflection, one angry demand, one spiteful contradiction begets another. And that a third, and so on, until it proves like the cutting of a dam. When the water has got a little passage until it begins to widen the breach. It bears down on all before it. And there is then no stopping it, no reducing it. A good caution inferred then is to take heed to the first spark of contention and put it out as soon as it ever appears. Dread the breaking of the ice, if once broken, the break will continue further. Therefore, leave it off, not only when you see the worst of it, for then it may be too late. But when you see the first of it, stop it then. Resist the earliest display. Leave it off. even before it be meddled with. Leave it before you begin. Okay? Enduring Word Bible Commentary says, the beginning of strife is like releasing water. The nature of liquid water makes it difficult to restrain it. Once it starts flowing, it's hard to restrain it. Once it is released, it will go in unexpected and uncontrolled ways. This is like the beginning of strife. Once an argument or battle has begun, it's difficult to control its course. And like uncontrolled water, it can cause great damage. It can cause great damage. The beginning of a bitter conflict involving pent-up arrogance and anger is likened to a person who digs a hole in a dam. The seepage starts from a small opening, but under built-up pressure, it quickly bursts open, and the small leaks turn into a raging, uncontrolled, drastic change that gets out of hand and does irreparable damage. Therefore, stop it before the quarrel starts, before strife and contention, strife and contention are difficult to control and cause great damage. Wisdom sees that it is much better to stop it before it ever starts. A person that's wise says, shut up. Because if we keep going, it's going to get worse and totally out of control. John Gill's exposition says, the beginning of strife, as in when a man makes a little hole in the bank of the river, or cuts a passage in it to let the water run into an adjoining field. By the force of the water, the passage is widened, and it flows in great abundance to the overflow of the field, and it's not easily stopped. So a single word spoken in anger, even with some warmth to it, or in a way of contradiction, has been the beginning and occasion of great contention. Cease from it as soon as it begins. Leave it off before it is well entered into, or before one mixes himself with it. What did you say? Well, say that again. Don't mix it. Once you start doing that, or it's implicated. What did you mean by that? Got so far into, cease it before those things happen, that it will be difficult to get out of it. Once the argument gets going, it's hard to be quiet and step out of it. Or before thou strivest with any openly, before you come to open words and blows, put an end to the contention. Do not suffer it to proceed so far. And I like the way John Gill puts it. Before the teeth are made bare. You know, like a dog, he starts baring his teeth, he starts growling like a snarling animal. Before your teeth start baring or shown in quarreling, brawling, reproaching in wrath and anger. Proverbs 15:1a says, a gentle and conciliating answer prevents wrath from bursting forth or from increasing. A soft answer turns away wrath, but a harsh answer stirs up strife. So the scripture is saying, by starting a quarrel, you're opening up a dam of water. And many of the commentators have said it's going to be uncontrolled. It's going to get out of hand. And then it's difficult to get that back in line. It's best to start it before it even starts. Stop it before it even starts. Note this illustration from C.H. Spurgeon, an expositor in Christian theology. He says, I once lived where my neighbor's garden was divided from me by only a very imperfect hedge. He kept a dog, and his dog was a shockingly bad gardener and did not improve my plants. So one evening, while I walked alone, he says, I saw this dog doing mischief, and being a long way off, I threw a stick at him with some earnest advice as to his going home. This dog, instead of going home, he picked up the stick and came to me with it in his mouth, wagging his tail. He dropped the stick at my feet and looked up at me kindly. What could I do but pat him and call him a good dog and regret that I had ever spoken so roughly to him? What a good example, illustration that is. He was get away from there. The dog thought he was playing fetch, so he bought it back, dropped it at his feet, and wagged his tail, and that calmed everything down. It's so much better to stop it before it even starts. It's better to do that because it's very difficult to stop once it gets rolling. It's just like that water rolling. Words are said, things are said out of anger, out of pent up arrogance. You know, I'm right, you wrong, and how dare you say that to me? Pent up arrogance. Then we say a bunch of things that we really don't mean, and you can't take them back. It's out there then. So it's best to stop it before it even starts, because it's very unlikely that you're going to be able to stop it. The beginning of strife in many homes between many brothers and sisters, mothers and fathers, children and parents, co-workers, is the start of a small little insignificant thing. Who left that pencil right there? What difference do it make? That is nothing. I just cleaned out that table. Who put that pencil there? It don't matter. Because you end up saying, then the other person, well, what do you mean when you said that? You see where I'm going? And after a while, I never liked you anyway, and I don't like pencils and blah, 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 and it goes on and on and on and on and on, and you end up harming. It can cause great damage that you can't undo. Many persons now, they don't speak to their siblings over something, if you ask them what happened, they can't hardly remember what it was. How long can, oh, I don't speak to her, I don't go to her house, because that's been, she said so-and-so, and I told her, and blah, 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 she said, then I told her, and I tried to die, blah, 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 and it goes on and on and on and on. And when you search it out, it was just something insignificant that didn't even matter, and we didn't even have to discuss that. You could have let that go. But instead, because of our arrogance and our pride, we got to have something to say back. We got to put up, a word or two. We got to get our little dig in there too. And all it causes is heartache, separation, and it just keeps going. It's better to teach the little ones now at an early age. Don't be like that. Don't do that. That wasn't nothing. Forget about that and go on. Well, you said, and he said, and she said, that's over now. I hear you say that so many times. Well, we finished with that now. So we don't have to talk about that no more. Because it just keeps rolling and rolling and rolling and rolling. And it can cause so many scars and damage to each person. It can cause deep cuts and injury to the psyche and the heart and the mind and the thinking of the person. And then you can't take it back. So don't start it. And then you won't have to stop it. If you see that little break coming, stop right there and deal with it right that moment so it doesn't continue on. God does not leave any situation of our lives uncovered. He deals with every point of us because he's molding us and shaping us into becoming like him. Did you see where Jesus argued? Do you know who I am? He didn't even argue with Satan. He just gave him what the word said and went on about his business. He didn't get into, I'm greater than you. You don't come up to me because I'm great. He didn't say all of that. And that's what we have to learn. It's not even an issue what we are carrying on about. Let it go and move on in life, because there'll come a time in life, all the ugly stuff you said, that person's gone. That's all the memories you got left. You don't want to have those kind of memories. No. You want to learn to stop it before it gets started. That is the lesson for today.